stole from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure.
If you don't say we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rate as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call the police station, before they even leave, they take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
the struggle, the ASU strike.
Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a life. The president never gave me any deadline.
Good morning and welcome to the morning show, live here from Global Television in Abuja. My name is Aniket Michael. A pleasure to have you join us this morning. And of course, a better way of starting a new day, 18th day of the month of March 2025. A lot of expectations you had for the year 2025, which is just steps, by the way, to getting those things achieved. But what really matters is the fact that you and I are quite very healthy, live to see this new day, and of course, what we should be grateful for. A lot of events, and of course, a lot of happenings in the politics and the economic sector, as well as even the educational sector, still topping some of the agendas. And of course, the program this morning will be doing justice to all of that, bringing you to speed about some of the development and happenings, the highlights and state actors. What are the reactions of both the government and the people in the state of the affairs of the nation as well? We'll also continue to highlight some of these reactions in respect to where we've been following up the news and the story for you. Right there to Rivers State, a lot of move by the House of Assembly to impeach the governor. They have listed several misconduct of the governor and even the deputy governor, and there are already indications of the move. And even the Rivers State government just yesterday had to raise alarm over the fact that the governor of Rivers State, Fubara, is trying to obey the rulings of the Supreme Court, but the House of Assembly still stick to their plans, which they have described that to be a deliberate and intentional plan to impeach the governor. What that means for the people of Rivers State is that many are warning that action, if that action should take place, what probably may be the fifth of the peace right in Rivers State, which is so much of importance due to how volatile those areas are. We'll continue to monitor that development, and of course, I'll bring you to speed about the reactions, the highlight, and what may be the resolution to all of those crises, political crises in Rivers State. A lot of describe that to be a war between a former governor of Rivers State, Wilson Wike, and the sitting governor, Fubara, in which started as an earlier the government of the day of Fubara, which had actually embarked on a legal and political war just till the Supreme Court judgment recently, in which affirmed the 27 lawmakers had ended defected, according to them, that they still have a status in the House of Assembly. All of that and the reactions coming from Rivers State will bring you to speak about how of that development. And now to the saga of criticism. What should be the proper way of Nigerians criticizing the government of the day? Constructive criticism has continued to be a matter of conversation due to the recent outburst of a core member of NYSC, who of course had to come out to state how our own feelings about the state of the nation, in which that many have said has broken the codes of the National Youth Service Corps. That will continue to highlight on the program this morning to bring you to speed. What better way can one citizens, freedom of speech, how better way can you criticize government? What status? Who are those that should be criticizing government? Can an NYSC core member criticize the government of the day? That will have a legal practitioner joining us on the program this morning to highlight all of that development. What really matters is the fact that you and I have set, and of course we roll the ball rolling as we bring you the headlines of the day from the Nigerian newspaper and bring you to speed about all of that stories for you this morning, and we'll follow it up with a lot of interactions and conversation on the program today. Thanks so much for joining us on the show. For now, we'll get to go on a very quick break, everyone, and once we return from the break, we'll look at the national dailies for you. Stay with us.
Do you know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Many thanks, everyone, for still staying with us here on the show. Now, let's take a look at the newspaper for you, beginning from the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. On the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, we have some big stories right there. Nigeria's inflation rates fell to 23.3% in February. That's a report coming from Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, NBS. FCT Minister revokes 4,794 land titles over non-payment of ground rent for over 40 years. That's you can find on page 5 on details regards to landowners here at the Federal Capital Territory. Rivers Assembly lists 19 sins of Fubara. A writer to that story says accuses him, deputy, of gross misconduct, moves for their impeachment. Fubara says lawmakers frustrating its effort to implement Supreme Court judgment. What Constitution says about removing a governor. These are the few headlines. Of course, the big story right there on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. But let's take a look at just a few other headlines right there. You can actually get the paper to get more details. Protest rocks Abuja over relocation of Benue Tribunal. CSO's petition CJN and NJC. That's a development from Benue State politics. Tinubu appoints Bishop Kuka, a pro-chancellor. That you can find on page 28 right there from the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Order EFCC to retrieve my seized asset from buyers. Ex-Minister Dizani begs court. That's there are a few headlines we have for you from the Nigerian Tribune. You can actually get the paper to have more in-depth analysis and that development. We'll now turn attention now to the Blueprint newspaper for you. Top to the speed of the headlines right there. We have Rivers State government raises the alarm as impeachment stares Fubara deputy in the face. What does the writer say? House lists 18-point offenses against the duo. Our future gloomy. That's coming from the Commissioner of Information of Rivers State. In respect to some development right there, we also have Nigeria's exports to Niger Republic soared to 77.12% last year in 2024. And I'll see some development in the world of sports. World Cup qualifier Super Eagles hits the gym in Rwanda. That's in respect to the coming match, World Cup qualifiers with the Super Eagles, and there's a lineup of teams to be played. Nigeria's inflation drops to 23.18%. Debt service declines to $276 million. That you can understand when you get the paper to have more details regards to that. SEC to publish names of capital market violators. Wike revokes 4,794 land titles in FCT. NNPC champions effective utilization of host community funds in Niger Delta. We also have a couple of other stories right there from the Blueprint newspaper, but just before we get to turn our page, we also have Tinubu Point Bishop Kuka Pro Chancellor plans to build larger sports at Olokala. Writer says narrates how a motion pulled down plant in a territories. Show Nigerians construction approvals for the alleged demolished structures. A motion replies that still development in regards to what we have right here on the front page of the Blueprint newspaper. Let's now turn attention to the Vanguard to bring you to speed about some of the headlines right there. Big story from the Vanguard. Rivers crisis. Assembly serves Governor Fubara deputy notice of misconduct. See a couple of writers. We haven't received notice. State government says states facing gloomy period. Asks lawmakers action could cause severe collateral damage. Plots to ask governor early July get boost for emerging scenarios. Also, White House not attacked both. The police lawyers insist on due process. A process for impeaching a governor. And these are the few developments to right there from the Rivers State crisis. Every day it's getting to take another dimension, and of course many have continued to look at the implication of impeaching the governor, what it means, what does the constitution say, what are the process. The House of Assembly have already initiated the process and is drawing all of these reaction. Also have cuts to AGF. You have no power to prosecute electoral offenders. That's on page 4 of the Vanguard newspaper for you this morning. Party primaries, NAS MOS amending 2022 Electoral Act. And politics, ex-governor El-Rufai traumatized after losing ministerial slots. All Progressive Congress, in response to Nasir El-Rufai's commentary regards to the state of the nation, the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. APC has said that he is still traumatized for losing out from the ministerial slots. What does that mean for former governor of Kaduna State? We'll continue to monitor that reactions as well. And not just Nasir El-Rufai, all of those who are probably having some views regards to the APC, the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and those who probably had supported the government to power. What are they now saying differently? Is it out of what APC have described to be a traumatized set of people in which are now having a consent to react and criticize the government of the day? Is that out of anger? That is what we have response from APC in respect to those critics of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Beneficiaries of fuel subsidy ganged up against Tinubu government at inception. That Senate leader. We also have a couple of Dangote motion beaker over the demolition of cement factory in Ogun State. Ground rent, Wike revokes 4,794 land titles after over 40 years. Well, also have a commentary. Why Nigerian sports are not competitive? This is coming from the shipping firms. And still on the world of sports, big story right there. 2026 World Cup, Eagles hit Kigali camp ahead of Rwanda clash. These are the developments you may have to catch up with the latest reactions and news stories for you this morning. But let's now take a look at the Punch newspaper. What does the front page of the Punch newspaper has for you? We still have SGF distances itself from its $10 billion fraud probe. Wike revokes 4,934 FCT land titles over 6.9 billion naira ground rent. Anti-Tinubu coalition, APC orders attack Erufai, Atiku as plot tickers. You can find that on page 2. Niger fuel crisis. Customs marketers differ as 400 border filling station shut. That you can find on that page 623 rather of the Punch newspaper in regards to the importation issues of fuel. Exportation. A lot of persons are actually monitoring what it means for us not really to have a good amount of the products that goes around to the country, but rather has been now being shifted out there, exported out to Niger Republic and other neighboring countries. But customs are now reacting and having a concern about that move. They're saying that Abudas is thicker and we are on top of the game. Well, impeachment move still on the front page of the Punch for you this morning. Tension in Rivers as Assembly serves Fubara misconduct notice. Tantita Titan Security, lawmakers list 19 infractions against Governor Amechi Kam's kicks. These are still one of the developments we have, big political developments we have from Rivers State. We're still monitoring that situation. Coppers who criticize Tinubu under pressure to apologize. Activists. 4 feared killed in Ogun cult clashes. That is on page 5 of the Punch. Lagos PDP attacks Jando over return to APC. That's the gubernatorial candidate of PDP in Lagos for the 2023 election has now defected from PDP to join the APC, and their PDP in Lagos said are reacting. What it may mean for the party's candidate leaving the party like PDP and joining hands with APC. One of the fates of PDP in Lagos State. That's the big questions to really answer from the members of the People's Democratic Party right there in Lagos State. Military attacks electricity workers. Discos blame FG. Threatened strike. That is on page 24. Amosun Dangote differ over cement plants demolition. We also have a couple of other reactions right there on the front page of the Punch, in which you can get the papers to have more in-depth knowledge about the reactions and the headlines for you this morning. But let's now take a look at the Nation newspaper. The next, that is a drop in food gas prices reduces inflation to 23.18%. MBS report shows 130 basis points slash. And what do we also have? Dangote to build a local support Itori cement plan. And Erufai stands diminish with his actions, says APC. House of Reps donate 7.5 million naira to support Tinubu's humanitarian programs. That you can find on page 2. Rivers Assembly lists Fubara's 19 sins. Lawmakers ask government deputy to defend gross misconduct allegations. No letter received by government. Well, that's the governor of Rivers State saying that we've not received any letter from the House of Assembly. And of course, when the governor had also sent letter to the House of Assembly for a budget presentation, the House of Assembly said we are not also aware. So there is a breach of communication, line of communication, correspondences is now becoming a problem over what we have between the executive and the legislature. But what really matters is the fact that the House of Assembly said we are on the move. These are your sins you've committed. These are the points we've made. Come and answer questions. But the governor says, and the government of Rivers said we haven't received any letter yet. The back and forth Rivers said still a major concern for everyone. Not really following up that development. But we also have a couple of other stories right away from that issues that Lagos Calabar Coastal Road will have $45 billion to economy. So it's Ladipo. That's on page 4. These are a few stories and the headlines we have right on the front page of the Nation. Beneath the paper we have other stories. But let's now take a look at the Guardian for you. On the front page of the Guardian, big stories we have right on the Guardian. Eyes on Rivers CJ as impeachment plot thickens against Fubara deputy. That's on page 6. What it means for the political players, the judiciary as well, the chief justice of the chief judge of Rivers State as well. A lot have been said that for the process to be completed, the House of Assembly probably may also need the assent of the chief judge of the state for that process to be completed. But we're still monitoring that, and of course we'll have a legal practitioner who will be joining us to bring us to speed about what it means. But away from their actions, there's a lot of threatening words coming from some section of the state regards to the move already. Many have said that move probably may also increase the tension, political tension in the state, and there's a need for the political actors to come together for peace talk. The governor said we have initiated peace talk already, but the House of Assembly have turned down severally. They listed that in the recent statement over the invitation to have a negotiation aftermath of the Supreme Court judgment. What is the way forward? The House of Assembly are saying we haven't gotten any communication from the government and the governor as well. So there is also a back and forth as to who is deceiving who. What does it mean for the Rivers State people? What are the priorities of both the executive governor and the government of the day and the legislature? All of that are at the crossroad of the crisis right there in Rivers State. But these are the moves we have right on the page of the Guardian, that all eyes are now on the Rivers State chief judge over the moves right there from the House of Assembly. These associates from RFI's deceptive politics. Southern Alliance wants Obi Atiku. That's still on the Guardian for you this morning. EFCC clocks Chinese Nigerian for docks Chinese Nigerians for alleged 3.4 billion cyber fraud economic sabotage. Also have on the front page of the Guardian, page 5, precisely threats to arrest Natasha. Anti-democratic CUPP warns. Lingering courts order litigation trail shows $2.4 billion divestment. AGF lacks power to prosecute electoral offences, court rules. Debt servicing fell from $540 million to $276 million, says Central Bank of Nigeria. We also have an economy. Nigeria's inflation sustained downward trend, slows to 23.2%. Jandor returns to APC as PDP describe exit welcome relief. That's reactions from the PDP in respect to a recent defection of their candidates during the 2023 gubernatorial election in Lagos State. Defecting to APC, that's saying is a welcome development, is a relief to the party. That might be a big political statement from the PDP, but what really matters is the weight of the defection. One who was bearing the flag of the party at the highest level of being the gubernatorial candidate, defecting the party. And the party said, is a welcome relief. Right, but we'll continue to monitor the politics of Lagos State. Already we also have the fact that the president has settled the crisis right there at the Lagos State House of Assembly. But what really matters is the fact that there are still internal politics within the APC as well from Rivers State. And now even the PDP are now losing some of the members, not just a member, like that of the candidate of their party in the 2023 election as gubernatorial candidate, defecting from the party to join hands with the APC. What are the signals already? It gets to the point of asking, what is the fate of PDP rather in Lagos State? But we continue to look at that development and the movement of politicians. You're already 2 years to election time. A lot of persons are already having concern about realignment, political coalition, coming together, joining hands, defecting, which is still normal for politicians. But what people are looking at is the substances on grounds which these politicians are defecting from this other party to the other. But politicians will always be politicians, as often said. We'll continue to look at that development to know what really matters. Is it for the interest of the people or just the interest of the political gladiators? Well, these are the few headlines we have for you on The Guardian. Not just few, but heavy headlines we have right down The Guardian. The much story you can get right there on the beneath the papers to catch up with the reactions and the full stories as well. But we now turn attention to look at the Nigerian News Direct, and once we look at the Nigerian News Direct on the big stories right there, again, inflation eases to 23.18% in February. What does the writer says? Food inflation drops to 23.51% as price pressure ease. February inflation slows, but high price persists. See PPE. That service drops to $276 million in February 2025. That's coming from the CBN. A reaction to that development. Also have a fresh trouble for Fubara deputy governor as a Rivers Assembly files impeachment notice. Right there. Controversial video. Reaction as LGI official disappears after inviting Lagos corps member at NYSC office. That you can find on page 20 of the Nigerian News Direct. Lack of party discipline. I quit. Well, the quit PDP. That's the PDP gubernatorial candidate, Jandor, making an explanation. Lack of party discipline. This is what he has based his grounds of defection, not just to any other party, but APC, in which has continued to draw on a lot of reaction. Why? We also have also big stories, of course, interesting ones that the ministers NCMB to investigate the Sterling Oil over expatriate quota violations and anti-labor practices. You can find those stories right there. Why we are returning to Ogun State to build port cement plant. That's coming from Dangote. FG Malls Agribusiness Investment Fund with private sector to reduce £3 billion food import. You also have reactions right there at the governor of Ogun State and Dangote receiving them at the government house in respect to the new move by the Dangote Cements to build a new port right there in Ogun State. These are the stories we have for you on the Nigerian News Direct. But everyone, Before we continue to wrap up on the newspaper, we'll get to look at catching up with a break. And once we return for the break, what are other papers we have for you, and then we'll bring you to other reactions of stakeholders, political gladiators in respect to what we have for you this morning. To stay with us, I'll be right back.
Know that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world.
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning. Do you know that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Still watching the Global Morning live on Global Television, reaching you from Abuja, the nation's capital. Let's take a look still on the papers on the Daily Trust newspaper for you this morning. Big story coming from Daily Trust. El-Rufai accuses Obasani of siphoning local government funds to UK, South Africa. Arada says no LG receives 50 million naira per month. Provide evidence. Shehu Sani challenges ex-governor. That's respect to the politics right in Kaduna State. Rivers Assembly notice of misconduct not addressed to Fubara. Government replies. Many injured, houses burned as crisis erupts in Plateau community. Sowore lawyer accompanied core members summoned for criticizing Tinubu. We also have motorists pass nights at CNG stations over inadequate dispensing points. What the writer says, experts urge expansion of filling centers. Government has no input in it. Presidential committee. These are the happenings right on respect to CNG. And those who had converted their vehicles are probably finding it very difficult to refuel, and some having to queue just to be able to have that due to very limited filling centers. And of course, attention has been drawn to look at how that can be worked on and improved. But these are what we have for you on Daily Trust this morning. We're going to take a look at the Daily Times. Just very few big and interesting stories from the Daily Times. Again, Rivers Assembly begins impeachment process on Fubara, deputy for alleged gross misconduct. Akume absolves selves of a 10 billion fraud allegation. Outrage as AMAC imposes 500,000 naira fee on business for in-office television sets. We also have the other stories right in Nigeria slashes debt service by $264 million. Inflation drops to 23.18%. FG reviewing 72 executive appointment of Rivers Basin Authority, says FG of Akume. And then outside the shores of Nigeria, Trump signs executive order to dismantle VOA. Wike revokes 4,794 land titles in Gusape, Gariki, Wose 2, Maitama, others. These are the few stories we have on the Daily Times. You could actually get the paper to catch up with more interesting narrations of those headlines for you. We'll take a look at, last but not the least, Daily Independent. Naira stability. Lower petrol price, cool inflation to 23.18% in February. Due to the Naira stability, the lower prices, and then cool inflation that has actually dropped the inflation to 23.18%. El-Rufai blinded by ego, driven by untamed emotion, says APC. Beneficiaries of subsidy ganged up against Tinubu, says Bamidele. And then we also have just right there on the front page of the Daily Independent, at UN Summit, deal next case for Niger Delta coastal communities. Page 6. Protests over moving Benue LG election tribunal to Abuja. LGF denies involvement in 10 billion naira fraud allegations as EFCC probes aid. Alleged fraud court adjourns Otuodeko's case for settlement talks with EFCC others. And on Rivers crisis, tension as Assembly moves to impeach Governor Fubara, deputy. The writer says, serves them notice of alleged gross misconduct. All Wike responsible if violent erupt. Ijaw Youth warn. Rethink your stance, Rivers government tells Assembly. Opposition rep says process dead on arrival. There is court ruling bearing impeachment of governor. Well, these are there is some developments with respect to the tensions right there in Rivers State. That's just interesting impeachment, movement, and coming from the Lagos PDP as the gubernatorial candidate Janda returns to APC. That's a fresh defection just has been announced yesterday about the gubernatorial candidate himself, certain cases of indiscipline to be the reason of his defection to the All Progressive Congress. Candidates of PDP now defecting to APC. Well, these are just the very few headlines we have for you right there on the Daily Independent. We'll continue to monitor all of the development. We can actually get the papers from the vendor to catch up with a good narration about all of these stories. But what really matters are the concerns right there in Rivers State. The criticism of the NYC core members, what probably may be the fate of that core members, and what are the process if one has to criticize. There are a lot of people said it's within his rights to make criticisms looking at the state of the nation, the cost of food items, in which of course many said she was obviously making the realities on ground and wasn't matter of partisanship, but as the core member, does the law permit that? We have an expert and a legal practitioner joining us this morning to review all of that. And now to the fate of the governor of Rivers State and the deputy. What does it mean? Some experts are arguing that because of the immunity, the governor cannot be impeached. Some says it's within the constitution for a governor to be impeached. More from the House of Assembly, the majority signs and then adopted as well, and having the accession of the chief judge as well. That moves can be possible. We'll continue to look at that development and bring it to speed on that. But for now, everyone, to sit tight with us. We'll return with a lot of conversation, and at the top of the hour, we'll bring you to speed with the news at AM. Just stay with us. We'll be right back.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning. Do you know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning. Do you know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to the Global AM News here on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Queen Agaba. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Nightcomsat. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, has urged troops of the Nigerian Army to make the country safer and more secure to ensure the safety and well-being of Nigerians. Oluyede gave the charge while addressing the troops at the parade ground during his maiden operational visit to the 12th Brigade Nigerian Army Chari Megumeri Barracks, Lokoja. He commended the troops for their good job and sacrifice in maintaining national security, defending the country's sovereignty and upholding its interest. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has criticized the 70,000 naira new minimum wage approved for workers by President Bola Tinubu, describing it as grossly inadequate to cover workers' basic needs, including transportation, food, and housing. The former president accused labor leaders of betraying workers by prioritizing personal interest over collective welfare. The Trade Union Congress has backed a Lagos-based Nigerian Youth Service Corps member Ushie Ugwamaye, also known as Raye, who claimed to have received threats for criticizing President Bola Tinubu's administration. Osifo says the corps members spoke out in frustration, advising the government not to go after her but to be tolerant of critics. The TUC boss, however, advised critics to always criticize the government within the expected norm and with some level of decorum. The federal government has reaffirmed commitment to reduce increasing housing deficits in Nigeria through public-private partnership. The Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Musa Dangiwa, made this known in Abuja at the Renewed Hope Housing Public-Private Partnership Summit. Godwin Sunday has details.
Nigeria faces a significant housing deficit estimated at 28 million units, requiring an investment of 21 trillion naira. The Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Musa Dangiwa, before the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding with representatives and stakeholders of public-private partnership, says the partnership will work to break the gap of over 20 million units. He added that the nation needs to deliver 500,000 housing units annually for the next 10 years at an annual cost of 10 million naira per unit, which requires an annual requirement of 5 trillion naira.
So pending the finalization of this data, we are working with an estimated housing deficit of over 20 million units. To bridge this gap and meet the rising demand, we need to deliver 500,000 houses units annually over the next decade.
Senator Aminu Tambua, Chairman, Senate Committee on Land, Housing and Urban Development, says well-structured housing public-private partnership will unlock sustained financial models as well as deploying cutting-edge technologies and implementing scalable solutions that will cater for the huge housing needs. He reiterated the National Assembly commitment in supporting progressive policies that will foster sustainable development in the housing sector.
Through well-structured PPPs, we can unlock sustained financial models, deploy cutting-edge technologies, and implement scalable solutions that cater to the diverse housing needs of Nigerians.
Convener Dr. Olayemi Sodimu Rotimi opening remarks highlighted the essence of the summit to foster collaboration among stakeholders, showcase innovative technology and best practices amongst others. Godwin Sunday for Global Television News.
State governors have launched a fresh push against the planned disbursement of federal allocation to the local government councils in renewed bid to delay the implementation of the Supreme Court verdict on local government autonomy of the governors. During a meeting with President Bola Tinubu at the State House, governors kicked against payment of the local government allocation through the Central Bank of Nigeria, citing the need to address the multi-billion-dollar debt allegedly incurred by the councils. Presidency officials say the governors used the opportunity of the Iftar dinner to lobby the president and renew negotiations on direct allocation to the councils, which has suffered delays. The Rivers State House of Assembly has issued a notice accusing the state governor, Siminalayi Fubara, and his deputy, Ngozi Odu, of alleged misconduct. The lawmakers justified their actions based on the Nigerian constitution. Meanwhile, the Rivers State government has expressed concerns over a bleak future for its people, citing the uncooperative stance of the Martins Amayewule-led Rivers State House of Assembly. A federal high court sitting in Lagos ordered the arraignment of former chairman of First Bank of Nigeria PLC, Oba Otudeko, I beg your pardon, and its former managing director, BC Onosoya, over an alleged 12.3 billion naira fraud. Delivering the ruling, Justice Aneke held that it's a settled principle of the law that the defendant's plea must be taken before any application can be considered. The Lagos state government has warned that the state will experience above normal rainfall in 2025, with potential flash floods in some areas that could disrupt commercial activities, pose risks to lives and properties, and cause flight delays. The Commissioner for Environment and Water Resources, Tokunbo Wahab, disclosed this in a statement on his official X account. According to Wahab, the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, has forecasted an early onset of the rainy season beginning in the last week of March, with the season expected to extend until early December. The Nigerian Senate has dismissed allegations by suspended Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan regarding a planned arrest upon her return from the Inter-Parliamentary Union event in New York. Senate spokesman Adeyemi Adaramodu, in a press statement, says President of the Senate Godswill Akpabio and the Senate have no reason to engage with Akpoti-Uduaghan on the matter. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, says 1,319 deaths have been recorded in the country's ongoing diphtheria outbreak. The NCDC made this known in its latest situation report from the National Diphtheria Emergency Operations Center, published via its official website. diphtheria, a serious bacterial infection caused by Corynebacterium and diphtheria. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has uncovered a fraudulent syndicate personating the agency to scam foreign companies using fake documents. The agency announced the discovery in a statement by Professor Mojisola Christiana Adeyeye, its Director General, following a petition from Tani Almeni Trading Group, Abu Dhabi, UAE, which fell victim to the scam. It was revealed that the syndicate is being led by Iroko Mang Ifendu, who was arrested on February 7, 2025 in Aba, Abia State for allegedly defrauding foreign firms by posing as a NAFDAC official. You're watching the live broadcast of the AM News. When the AM News returns, state governors have outlined ambitious plans to boost capital expenditure. We'll bring you details shortly after the break.
Do you know that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Many thanks for staying with us. If you've just joined us, this is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of the AM News. In business, state governors have outlined ambitious plans to boost capital expenditure in states to address the infrastructure deficits in their various domains. The governors have earmarked 17.51 trillion naira to fund capital projects in their 2025 budget. They had earmarked 11.34 trillion naira to fund similar projects in 2024, but could not secure sufficient funds as the state recorded a deficit of 3.98 trillion naira last year. This indicates that the subnationals plan to spend 28.85 trillion naira on infrastructure upgrades to boost economic development in 2 years, following the improved revenue allocations from the federal government. Nigeria's inflation fell to 23.2% in February, the second consecutive drop after the National Bureau of Statistics changed its methodology. Annual consumer prices rose 23.2% in February from 24.5% in January, according to data by NBS on Monday. Last month, the National Bureau of Statistics released the rebased Consumer Price Index data of 24.48% from 34.8%. Ghana's former president, John Dramani Mahama, has highlighted Solana as a key player in driving fintech growth and cryptocurrency adoption in Africa. He emphasized Solana's low transaction cost as a catalyst for financial inclusion across the continent. Mahama stated that financial inclusion isn't just a need for Ghana, it's essential for all of Africa. With its low transaction costs, Solana could drive fintech growth and enable cryptocurrency payments and investments. The Assets Management Corporation of Nigeria says it has recovered over 2.1 trillion naira in debts despite its challenges since inception. It also stated that It also stated that the corporation currently has over 2,000 cases in court, as some of AMCON's debtors owe nearly 5 trillion naira, adding that the debtors who borrowed these monies did not use it for the purpose for which the money was borrowed. This was disclosed in Lagos during a press conference by the agency's head of corporate communications, Jude Nwauzo. The Deputy Governor, Corporate Services of the Central Bank of Nigeria, MM Usoro, has called for the inclusion of women and other undeserved groups in the financial ecosystem. Usoro made the call during her presentation titled Accelerating Women's Financial Inclusion, Unlocking Opportunities for Growth and Investment at Citibank's inaugural Women in Central Banking event held in London, United Kingdom, in commemoration of this year's International Women's Day. During her presentation, Usoro reiterated the Apex Bank's commitment to driving bold, data-driven policies that accelerate access to finance, drive investment, and foster a more inclusive, dynamic economy. The Dangote Oil Refinery has commenced the startup of its polypropylene facility in Lagos, and the polypropylene facility, in a statement by the group, the facility will be officially unveiled soon. The starting up of Dangote's 830,000 metric tons per polypropylene site was one of the last outstanding milestones for the oil refining and petrochemical complex in its commissioning sequence, which has been taking place since January 2024. On the foreign scene, U.S. President Donald Trump says he had no intention to ease steel and aluminum tariffs as Washington edges towards an all-out trade war with major partners since January. Trump has imposed levies on multiple trading partners and imports, including steel and aluminum, roiling financial markets and fanning fears that his plans could tip the world's biggest economy into a recession. The president told reporters aboard Air Force One he did not plan to make exceptions to the tariffs, saying he had no intentions. Kurdish-led forces that control large swathes of northern Syria says 9 people from the same family were killed Sunday night in a bombing he blamed on Turkey. A Turkish occupation aircraft bombed a farming family south of Kobani in the late hours of Sunday night. In addition to the 9 members of the Othman Abdo family killed in the strikes, the SDF say 2 wounded relatives were taken to hospital, most of which were children, according to graphic photos of the aftermath of the SDF posted on Telegram. 21-year-old Sebastian Buzil from Loretton, Long Island, has become the first person in New York to be cured of sickle cell anemia using innovative LifeGenia gene therapy. The pioneering treatment, administered at Cohen Children's Medical Center, offers a beacon of hope for countless individuals battling the debilitating disease. President Donald Trump's administration has begun mass layoffs at Voice of America and other U.S.-funded media, making it clear intent to gut outlets long seen as critical for U.S. influence. Just a day after all employees were put on leave, staff working on a contractual basis received an email notifying them that they were terminated at the end of March. In sports, Nigeria's preparations for the 2026 World Cup qualifier against Rwanda are underway as key players arrive in Kigali. Super Eagles star Victor Osimhen, alongside Bruno Onyemaichi, Papa Daniel Mustafa, and Kayode Bankole, were the first to land in Rwanda, kicking off the team's build-up for Friday's crucial match. Nigeria will play host to 5 other African countries: Kenya, Uganda, Namibia, Tanzania, and Sierra Leone from March 26th to April 6th as the 6th country vie for Africa's sole ticket to the 2026 ICC Under-19 Men's T20 World Cup, which will be held in Zimbabwe and Namibia. The Tafawa Balewa Square Cricket Oval and the University of Lagos Cricket Oval will host the round-robin matches between countries, as both grounds have been optimized and certified ready for the regional tournament. Nigeria's junior Yellow Greens and their 5 opponents will compete for the continent's sole ticket to the World Cup. And that's it on the Global AM News, and it came to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. Don't forget that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365, on Star Times channel 276, and free to air on NigeComSat. You can also download the Global TV Nigeria mobile app on Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. You can also follow Global Television across all social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles now showing on your screen. I'm Queen Agaba. Thank you for watching, and see you again.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning. Do you know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning. Do you know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Many thanks everyone for still staying with us here on Global Morning. A lot of concern as we'll be turning attention to the National Youth Service Corps is back on the spotlights, but this time around is because of the unfounded, not because of the unfounded issues of the CAMs or issues regards to insufficient allowances of the corps members. What we have out right there is the fact that the corps member recently came out to criticize the face of the nation. Of course, that has continued to drag a lot of reactions. Joining us this morning is a legal practitioner to understand, is NYSC trying to silence the corps member, or what does it really the bylaws has to say regard to all of these matters? Achibong Edet, a legal practitioner, joins us from Lagos this morning to review all of this concern. Thanks so much, Achibong. Very quickly, what is your concern about that? All of that video you had watched, if you have also had to watch that video, do you feel that the corps member had actually broken the bylaws of NYSC, or would you say that criticizing the government as a corps member is actually wrong?
Okay, thank you for having me. The truth of the matter is, he has not infringed on any law, be it the NYSC Act or the bylaws. He has the right, as every other Nigerian, to speak our mind, to talk about the governments of the day, because these are things that directly affect her as a Nigerian. She has a fundamental right, which is a right that cannot be taken by any law, especially when such law is inconsistent with the provisions of the Constitution. If you look closely at section 39 of the Constitution, it gives every Nigerian the right to air his or her views, his or her opinion publicly without being disturbed. And then, although that right is not absolute, section 39 sub 3 gives the National Assembly the powers to make laws to curtail this right, so that this right is not being abused. And in pursuant of that power, the National Assembly made laws, including the NYSC Act, which the NYSC Act, which gives provision for the NYSC to make regulations. And the NYSC, in pursuant to that power to make regulations, made the NYSC bylaws. So now the point is, has the corps member, has she infringed on the NYSC Act? Has she infringed on the bylaws? And also, is this act and bylaws inconsistent with the provisions of the Constitution? And my position is very clear. She has not infringed on any rights. She has not infringed on the NYSC bylaws. The reason being that if you look at the NYSC Act, Section 1 provides for the objectives of the NYSC, primarily which is to foster unity and also to help in the accelerated growth of the Nigerian economy. And what did the corps lady do? She was advocating for good governance. She was advocating for good governance. She was advocating on how the government can reduce inflation. And this is what contributes to the growth of the economy. So if we look at it critically, she was actually furthering the objectives of the NYSC. I know so many people have talked about she being in breach of the bylaws, especially Section 18 of the bylaws, which states that the corps members should not grant press interviews, should not talk to the press without the approval of the state coordinator. Now, is she talking on a personal platform? Does it amount to granting interview to the press? My answer is no. She did not call for the press. She did not call Global TV. She did not call any other news channel. So it cannot be said that she was talking to the press. She was merely expressing herself. And secondly, and very importantly, that provision only has to do with corps members that are still in the orientation camp, not corps members that have finished their orientation and are actually in their place of primary assignment. So the provision does not even apply to her. If you look critically at that provision, it says that anybody who defaults shall be tried by the camp court. What does it mean? It means that there are still, those corps members are still in camp. So they'll be tried with the camp court. And if they are found wanting, they'll be given 21 days extension. If you are outside of camp, there you don't have, as a corps member, you don't have any business with the camp court. You have a business with the disciplinary committee. So Section 18 of the NYSC bylaws does not apply to her. She is out of camp. She's in a private organization doing a PPA, so she cannot be held under that section. Another section that tries to curtail free speech or try to relate to this her situation is the issue of proper communication. Yeah, it's still in the bylaws, the miscellaneous provision that proper communication should be followed. And when channeling dispute by core members, but then the question again is, does the complaints she made on her social media platform, does it fall within the powers? Does it fall within the jurisdiction of the NYSC to entertain? And the answer is clearly no. It does not fall within the purview of the NYSC to entertain. She was not complaining about any policy of the NYSC. She was not complaining about the condition of service. She was not complaining about her place of primary assignment. So she cannot then say she has to report to her LGI or to the NYSC first. What she was complaining of is basically inflation and that the president is doing a terrible job at governance. She was complaining about that. So it does not fall within the purview of the NYSC because the NYSC cannot summon the president to ask the president about whether the president is a terrible president. So you see, these are issues that are external and clearly outside the powers of the NYSC. So it was very unnecessary for the LGI to call her, to threaten her, to take down the video. Because she's within our right to make videos, she's within our right to express herself. It is a constitutional provision. And even if, assuming but not conceding, assuming that the NYSC Act had restricted her freedom of expression, such provision, when properly scrutinized, if it is inconsistent with the provisions of Section 39 of the Constitution, it will be null and void. Because the Constitution is supreme, and any other law that is inconsistent with the provision of the Constitution is null and void to the extent of that inconsistency. As a Nigerian, she goes to the market, she knows how it pinches her, the prices of data is up, the prices of X, as she rightly complained, is up. So she has the right to complain. The salary, the allowance given to NYSC core member has not increased. To the best of my knowledge, they are still collecting 33,000 naira. The minimum wage of 70,000 naira that the president newly approved has not been implemented. So you see what they are passing to. They cannot be suffering and smiling. It is not done anywhere.
Boss, actually, let me take you to some points that have been made. That NYSC is a government-controlled institution, and if they are a government-controlled institution, there are a lot of restrictions similar to what we see in the civil service. That for you to be a member of this, that means you are being controlled. Don't you feel that there is a violation of that? If we must go by that, even if NYSC are being controlled.
No, I don't support that position because it is not founded by law. The NYSC is not a civil service organization. It is not subject to the civil service rules. It is not subject to the code of conduct of civil servants. So it cannot be said that they are civil servants or they are subject to such stringent conditions. Also,
but they were subjected to some training with the military.
Yes, if you look at the training with the military, it is just a microscopic part of the NYSC program. In short, the training with the military is very minute. That it forms less than 20% of what they do at the orientation camp. If you look at the orientation camp, what they do is skill acquisition in form of SAID, what else? Training, passion, and all that. It's about unity. It's about fostering unity. That's the purpose of the orientation camp. It's not there for military combat. They are not securing any. They are not there for any security services. They are not there to. They are not even combatants. So you get the point. They cannot therefore be said to be military or paramilitary organization. They don't have such powers. They don't have such training as it were itself. So you cannot say they are military or they are paramilitary. They are just Nigerians doing a voluntary service. So you cannot compare them with military. They do not have ranks. There are no structures. There's no, you not see a corps member and you say that this corps member is a lieutenant or is a corporal. Or they are all on equal basis. There's no ranking or there's no hierarchy in the corps members. So you cannot say that they are military or paramilitary personnel. They are not also subject to service law. If an NYSC corps member should, flout the law, they are not subject to court martial. They are basically going to be tried in the disciplinary committee. So you cannot say that they are military or paramilitary organizations and they are not also civil servants because they are not subject to civil service rules, civil service code of conduct. So that argument is unfounded.
Well, thank you very much. There are many sides to what has been raised, the issues on ground, but particularly from the point of the NYSC and the NYSC, local government inspector, her LGI, who happened to call her and allegedly threatened her, to take down the videos and all of that. But in your perspective as a lawyer, how do you think that the government should have responded or reacted to her criticism, the criticism of this corps member?
Okay, the best way to react is to see how you can resolve the issue that she has raised. And what are the issues? Basically, she was talking about inflation, the price of things going up. So how do you now resolve the issue of inflation? You sit down with your cabinet, you see how you can resolve the points raised instead of calling her to take down the video. These are the things that the call was very unnecessary. And so it's as a result of the call that the issue gathered more attention. If the LGI had kept quiet, as it does not concern her, it's not within her purview. If she had kept quiet, some officials can be overzealous in an attempt to please their masters. They can go overboard. So it was out of overzealousness, if I should put it that way, that she made that call. She does not have the right to do that. So what the government should do is to sit down, look at the policies of the government are biting the people. How can we ameliorate the hardship? How can we reduce the cost of things in the market? This is what the government should be concerned about. That is the reason they were elected. So instead of threatening her, looking for ways to punish her, they should look at how to, because these are things that affect every Nigerian, whether you are in the upper class, whether you're in the middle class, whether you're in the lower class. It affects everybody. So everybody should come on board. The government should look for ways on how to resolve these issues. She complained about Lagos being smelly. Yes, some parts of Lagos are smelly. What should the government do? There are potholes. Government should fix these things. Rainy season is coming. The drainage system is bad. In my office, when it's rainy season, I don't park my car outside. I have to ensure that I park it inside the compound because outside will be flooded. So these are the issues that should be addressed before the rainy season comes proper. Government should look at how they can clear the drainage system, fix potholes, and these are basic things. We should leave this level by now. Nigeria as a country, we should not be complaining about these basic things. These are basic necessities that nobody should be talking about it in 2025. We should be talking about probably artificial intelligence, the global economy, and all of that. Not issue of pothole, drainage system that our engineers that are coming out from the universities are supposed to sort. But we are not seeing that happen. Even engineers that are coming up from the university, we are not seeing them doing some basic engineering like construction of roads. So you now ask ourselves, what are we doing as a country?
Let's just on the flip side, if the corps member happens to appear before the panel, if at the end of the day, because from what we gathered yesterday, also accompanied her to the LG office as well, but they couldn't have that meeting. If she's not invited to answer some questions, what is the highest that can be done? And based on this argument that we now have, of course, your submission, what do you feel may be the fate of this corps member?
Okay. So she's a core member, so she's subject to the bylaws. But like I said, she has not even infringed on the bylaw. But assuming she has infringed on the bylaw, the highest punishment they can give to her is an extension between 21 to 30 days extension. They cannot do anything more than that. That is the provision of the law. Between 21 to 30 days extension. She has not done anything that it's not a felonious offense. It's not an offense. It's not a criminal offense. It's just probably an infringement on the bylaw. So the worst that can happen is to give her 21 to 30 days extension, which was what happened in the case of Davido. I've seen people comparing Davido case and the core member, the lady, her case. But the two cases are very different. In Davido's case, he left the camp and traveled outside of the country. And by the bylaws, you are not supposed to leave the country. You are not supposed to leave your camp or your place of permanent assignment without the authorization of the state coordinator. So Davido was clearly in breach of the provisions of the bylaw, while the core lady is not in breach of the provision of the bylaw. So people trying to raise the sentiment that is sentimentalism or something. The two cases are very different, and it's not an opportunity for someone to come and draw the line and saying that it's because this person is from a particular ethnic group or not. No, it's not an issue of ethnicity. It's an issue of whether the core members had breached the provisions of the NYSC Act or the NYSC bylaw. So that's it. And in this case, my humble opinion is that she's not in breach of the bylaws, as the bylaw does not apply to her in this particular instance, majorly because, one, she's not in camp, she's out of the camp, and two, the points she raised are not points that are within the purview of the NYSC. So the NYSC cannot entertain it. Even if she had complained to the NYSC had no solution to give. The NYSC cannot summon the president to come and answer questions on why the prices of goods are going up in the market. So it would have been an effort in futility. So it was very needless for the NYSC, the LGI coordinator, to call her. And then, although, as she has called, she has to respond. And she has to state her reasons clearly. If she's to appear before the disciplinary committee, she'll go there and make her case. And at the end of the day, they'll probably find that she has no case to answer in the first place.
Achibong, I like that you mentioned that the NYSC, if she had complained to the NYSC wouldn't have been able to summon the president and all of that. But with all of this that has happened with social media, how she has come up to speak, what message do you think that this scenario now sends to young people about the power of their voices and their ability to speak up against injustice?
It's an attempt to silence the youth, but it's not going to happen because more youths are going to come out. And I'm already seeing that they are doing 30 days challenge, calling the president a terrible president. You cannot silence the youth. They eat like this, like you said, these days. The youth of this generation, they have coconut head. They know they hear what. The things you tell them not to do are the things they are going to do. So they cannot silence the average Nigerian youth. They are going to speak up. When people feel that they have something to lose, that's when they don't speak up. But when you're already on the ground, you do not have any fear of falling because you're already on the ground. You're already pushed against the wall. The things that you could afford previously, you can no longer afford them. The things that you could buy, you can no longer buy them. So if you're already on the floor, there's no fear of falling. Nigerian youths are going to stand up. So the best thing that the government should do is to take the hint to ensure that they solve the problem as fast and as soon as they can. It's not about trying to silence, trying to threaten anyone. You can threaten one person, but you cannot threaten the whole youth. People are there. People are there in their their houses. They are typing. They are sending messages and all that. So you cannot go and arrest the conglomerate of the youth. The best and the most simple thing to do is to see how you can handle these issues. Thankfully, the president has called for a national youth conference. Let's see how it's going to go. Let's see if excuse me. Let's see how the youth conference is going to go. Let's see if it's going to be a political opportunity for the president, or if it's going to be an opportunity for them to reflect on their actions and to truly hear the cries of the youth. We are waiting to see how the selection process is going to be. We are waiting to see the result of the youth conference. If it's going to be another waste of public funds, or there's going to be a significant improvement. Because the truth of the matter is, there is nothing that the Nigerian youth are going to say that the people in power, that our leaders, they do not know. It's a very simple thing. Do not steal. We don't have to have a youth conference to tell you don't embezzle money. We don't have to have a youth conference to tell you do not siphon money. We don't have a basic conference to tell you fix road. These are things that before you even pick form to contest election, you knew that these are the things that you were going to do. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had said that he was going to fix electricity, that if he does not fix electricity within his first term, he shouldn't be elected into office at the second term. And this is 2025, few years to the next election, and electricity is still a major problem. In short, we have seen hike in electricity tariff than we have seen before. And the supply is low. From every 2 to 3 months, you hear that there's collapse in the power grid, there's a disturbance in the power grid, and all whatnot. So what has the president done? His basic campaign promises has not been fulfilled. What will be his scorecard? What will he use as a scorecard to buy for the next election? So these are things that he should be looking at. Okay, I'm almost rounding up my tenure. What am I going to present? What am I going to show to Nigerians that this is what I have done while I'm in power, while I was in power? And this is the reason he should give me a second chance. But that is not the case here. The president is not doing that. We don't know what the president is doing. The policies that the president is implementing, there are no results. Okay, the president has increased the pump price of fuel. Now, they remove subsidies. Where is the dividends of that? We are not seeing anything. But now we are supposed to be seeing major infrastructure development, but we are not seeing it. What is the president doing? These are questions that needs to be answered. From time to time, the president ought to be addressing Nigerians. If it's actually doing something, it should come out and tell Nigerians, either on a monthly basis or even a quarterly basis, this is what I have done, this is what I'm doing, this is the stage I am. You have to address the nation. But the president is not doing this. He's keeping the people in the dark, and we are not seeing anything. There's no significant improvements in any aspect. You can talk about healthcare, you can talk about education. There is no improvement. So people must complain. Instead of that, we are seeing hike in prices of goods. So people have to complain. You cannot beat a child and expect the child not to cry. It's not possible. It's not done anywhere.
Okay, Barrister Achibong, thank you very much. But, still on the reactions that have, followed these core members' video and her outcry for help, people have said, particularly from the NYSC, there have been arguments, and she has also come out to, in writing to defend herself and say she has not gone out of the acts, of the NYSC, that she has not mentioned which is, not being partisan, that she's non-partisan, she has not called for political party or any of those things. She has only spoken, and that there was no way in the NYSC Act where you were asked not to, negate the government or, speak about hardship and all of that. But, this outcry has gained a lot of reactions from activists, from people, a lot of reactions, lots of discussions, conversations about this. But moving on, what do you think, what does this mean for the NYSC? What do you think would happen, after, these issues? What do you think would happen basically for the NYSC moving on? And for other core members? I think
it's time for the NYSC to retrospect and look at its objectives. The reason it was created in the first place. It's a time of self-reflection to look at, and they should know that they are dealing with adults and they are not dealing with children. They're dealing with people that have gone through tertiary education and have been trained to have an independent mind of their own. So they should look at the basic objective. Is the program achieving its objectives? And there are so many people that have said that the program has derailed and it should be scrapped out. But then, if you look at it, there are still some goods. There are still some goods that the program is doing, it helps in national integration, unity, and also helping graduates to be exposed to, work environment and inculcate good work ethics. Because if you look at it, if the program is scrapped, of course I'm not an advocate that the program should be scrapped. Instead, it should be restructured. Because if you look at it in our society today, if a graduate should come out, really before the person will see an employment. So where would this person develop skill? Where would this person develop work ethics? But NYSC provides the opportunity for new graduates to work, to get first-hand experience in government parastatals, institutions, and all that. So what the NYSC should do is to look within and see how they can reform the organization to better achieve its aims and objectives. So it's not something that one should fight about. It is not something that they should threaten core members. Rather, they should come together, have the meeting, and see how they can restructure the program to better achieve its objectives. So basically, that's it. I'm not a fan that the program should be scrapped, because there are benefits. National integration, people traveling, exposure. There are people that have never left the confines of their states. So this program affords them an opportunity to leave the confines of their state, to see how other cultures are, to meet people from different cultures, different ethnic groups, and build tolerance. Because if you are so used to one thing and you are not exposed, you may think that that's how things are done. So you learn new values, you let go of new values and all that. People that are exposed are people that are less likely to be tribalistic, they are less likely to be violent and all that. So these are things that the NYSC herself inculcates. So the NYSC leadership to look within and see how they can better achieve this objective. It's a beautiful program. I myself, I did NYSC and I enjoyed it. I made great friends, and I think it's a very beautiful program.
20th anniversary. Happy legal practitioner joining us from Lagos. Thanks so much for your time and your insight on the show this morning.
Thank you for having me.
All right, now we'll be turning attention now to the crisis of Rivers State. The House of Assembly are already making moves by writing to the governor, stating some of the misconduct about the governor and the deputy governor. That has continued to spark reaction. And just after the break, we'll be looking at that. What does that move really mean for Rivers State and the whole? To stay with us on the show, we'll be right back.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning. Do you know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews, latest news with experts on key global issues,
and at the same time keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning. Do you know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Many thanks everyone for assisting us here on Global Morning. Now we'll turn attention to the crisis of Rivers State. The House of Assembly are threatening impeachment already. They are making already moves, and that has continued to draw attention of everyone, which many said, what may be the result of this move by the House of Assembly? How will it end? How will it affect the developments in Rivers State? Toba Wajai joins us here from the Federal Capital Territory virtually this morning to review all of those happenings in Rivers State. Mr. Toba, the House of Assembly are now making moves. That moves can be linked to what they earlier did in 2023, prior to where the governor had taken some move, demolishing the House of Assembly to hold that process and even getting some court injunction, which had followed a lot of dramas within the House of Assembly. But now they have stated about 19 points of misconduct of the governor. Now, not just the governor, they've also linked the deputy governor to all of these issues as well. One, do you feel that there can be a peace talk now, because they said you waited for the Supreme Court to give a judgment before calling for a peace talk? It means you are not realistic. You held our salaries, all our entitlement as lawmakers for almost 2 years. There have also started cases of all of those within the 19 points I've raised as the cases of misconduct against the governor and deputy governor. What is your assessment of all of these developments?
Good morning. I fault Fubara. His major crime would have been if he had paid their salaries. It will show that you are solving while you are waiting for the determination of the Supreme Court. These people are working. These people have children. These people have families. Whether they defect or not has not been cleared. But for now, you cannot keep them without pay for that duration of time. They represent people. They are a house of assembly, and that's about 80% of your house of assembly. So Fubara didn't get well advised. I've said on this show 1 year ago that this day was coming, and this day is here. And it's just a matter of time. I believe that Fubara will be gone. I believe that another Ijaw man will replace him for peace, so that it is not an ethnic matter. How
would another Ijaw man come in?
They will find a way in. They will find a way in. Is it
by election? Because the elections will be in the next 2027.
That can take place. There's still an Ijaw man there are more than 3 Ijaw men in the House of Assembly there. And they may do a reshuffle, drop Amewile, and move an Ijaw man to become the speaker, and then he becomes the governor after the impeachment. So these things are possible. But you see, that's why I say it's all negotiation. It's all negotiation, and you need stakeholders who have understood politics. I blame Fubara because you have never been a ward councillor, you have never been a local government chairman. You are made governor, and immediately you decided that you don't want anybody to advise you. I don't think he took the right steps. For a newbie, it is very important to be guided at the beginning, if not for nothing, for your first 1 year. But to start battle with your predecessor and with your House of Assembly and with your commissioners in less than 5 months of being elected and sworn in is just a recipe for disaster. Well, he has done well. He has been able to manage the drama this long. I didn't know it would take this long. And then you see, you must serve somebody. You don't want to serve Wike. You must serve Ikenga and others who will be billing you and you'll be paying legal fees, you'll be paying consultation fees. You moved your 23 men to his party. You have to build secretariats. You have to sponsor elections. You must serve somebody. You are a newbie. This is politics. You are going to learn it the soft way or the hard way. And barristers have nothing to lose. Media houses have nothing to lose. We are looking for drama every week. So barristers make their money and walk away and go and pay their children's school fees abroad. So he should have understood that this matter is on his own table. what I expected from him after the Supreme Court judgment, immediately say, okay, I was ill-advised about this. 2 of the aides that advised me, I have sacked you, go home and rest. Now, this is the matter by the law. The Supreme Court has said this. I abide by it. Abewile, come and take your place. We go together, I snap a picture with them, we hold hands up, I refund all your salaries immediately, so that it doesn't look personal. It will just look like it was a position of law that was not cleared and was now cleared up by the Supreme Court. And simply you abide by it. But now you started by saying you don't know what the Supreme Court has said, you are waiting for the Supreme Court to send, you are waiting for. Then you go to the House of Assembly quarters because you have demolished, or people have demolished their complex, which is their official place. Then you go to where they live with their families and drive your jeep and your convoy to the gate and say they should open the gate. I don't know. I really don't know who is advising this guy. Where their families live, they should just open the gate for you to drive in. These are people that their lives have been threatened many times, and their families where they are staying. So it's not. I don't think he has very good advisors. And let me tell you, politics. Once you are a top man in a top position, you will have sycophants. You will have people who just make money off of you, and when you are down, they will walk away. I assure you, they will walk away if Fubara is impeached. But he can still salvage it. He can still go back to the president. He can still go back to trying to separate the Amewile house from Wike and giving them what they want. And just, you need to find the political
but the governor have been extending hands after the Supreme Court judgment. Last week, Monday, he invited them to the government house for some peace talk.
But he posted it on social media. What? This is what I don't get. Me and you are friends, and if you want to invite me to a program, you now come to this TV program, Michael, and you now tell me you are inviting me to this program on TV when you have my number and we talk. That document didn't need to get to social media. Send it through the right channels. He's getting wrongly advised. This is what I'm saying. You have this problem, do a press conference like you did. We will abide by the Supreme Court judgment. We thought they had defected. The law has made it clear they've not defected. We welcome them back with open arms. Make your word clear. Don't be ambiguous. Don't sound like you are still bitter about something. We welcome them back with open arms. Budget to be presented to them along with an audit copy. Wike gave 2 conditions for peace to reign. I have the audio. He said, number 1, that the budget of 2024 must be represented. Number 2, all commissioners that were sacked must be re-employed. Why is this too difficult? You are 1 year away from election. Follow it. Then if you win the next election, they can start fighting you afresh again. Sometimes you just leave battle. Mandela stayed in prison for 27 years, and when he was coming out, the people expected him to be in charge of Aluta and fighting. But his first press statement, he said we must put the past behind us and move forward to a greater and new South Africa. Some people didn't like it for the first 1 or 2 weeks, but they bought into it and South Africa moved on. He had to move from becoming an activist to becoming an elder statesman. And those are the things we expected on Fubara. Let the fight go. The fight is not personal. Even if it has personal colorations, this is a court judgment. It's not a family judgment. Follow the court judgment and move on.
So that the governor through the broadcast, the press briefing of the Commissioner for Information yesterday said the governor is making efforts to implement all the Supreme Court judgment. He has nullified the local government election that were recently conducted, ordering for a fresh re-election. He has also presented a way of making approaches to represent the 2025 budget just as mandated by the Supreme Court judgment. But the House of Assembly are making things difficult. One will say that some person said, like, they are receiving order from above that, for instance, they are linked the former governor of Rivers State and the minister of FCT to be the one giving the order to the House of Assembly, that the House of Assembly are not acting on their own. Are you not bothered that an institutions, even when they have said the channel of communication has not really been transparent? Sometimes the governor, they had criticized the other letter that he wrote through the secretary. The governor had to personally sign the letter representing the budget. Are you seeing the House of Assembly giving the body language of peace? Because now you may say peace on the other side of the governor. Are you having a concern that the House of Assembly should also wear the garment of peace for this to be for this to come to pass?
You see, I'll try to be as clear and honest with you as possible. Any of those House of Assembly members could have been picked as governor-elect when Wike was going out. Any of them. I've sat with some of those people on a table of 30 or 40 of us. Fubara was not anything special on that table. Nothing special. But because Wike wanted power to go to that region, that had not happened since 1999. And he jumped a lot of bigger guns, bigger names than Fubara by miles. And he did it against everybody's wish. But everybody followed along and supported him. So what I'm saying is Fubara is not bigger than any of those lawmakers. None in person. He asks him, he can tell you. He's not bigger than any of them. But a narrative favored him. And that same narrative was what he has goofed on. And now that he has done that, he needs to just come out clean, clear. Instead of all of this drama, go and watch his speech that day. Was it sounding like as if the judgment was not clear? He doesn't understand what the judgment is. My brother, calm down, go for reconciliation. They have given you two conditions that are not impossible. Return the commissioners you sacked. That is not a hard thing. You can do that with a pen. Represent 2024 budget. It will only press your ego as a human being, and the fact that there are many people hailing you. My brother, people will hail you. When they impeach you, people will leave you. Find out later. People will leave you. People will leave you. These are human beings. So go and represent that budget. In my opinion, go and represent that budget. Bring back the commissioners you sacked. Make sue for peace. Call the chief elders. Unfortunately, Edwin Clark is passed, and it's a very sad time. Call the chief makers together. They will sit down, address the matters, address issues, not persons. Address issues that were wrong and fix those issues and move on. This is my opinion.
All right, before I let you go as we wrap up, we're looking at the peace because some said that may also increase the tension already in Rivers State. And if that action is taken, the people of Ijaw have been coming out to speak. They're saying that action will trigger anger within the people of Ijaw, and that may probably lead to violence in the state. What will be your concern? The president also on his body language has said the governor should obey the ruling of the Supreme Court. Pandev led some delegation to meet with the president, still to intervene on the issue. That has been a move just to be able to see how they can resolve because of how volatile the area, Rivers State, is. Away from the fact that, yes, the governor might still be holding back, as you said, the issues of commissionership and all of that, obeying what the minister of FCT wants him to do. Can you come to the grounds of the fact that that action, if they implement it or the impeachment moves becomes necessitated, that may trigger violence in those areas? Or do you feel that government should see that as a mere threat from the people of Ijaw?
The president that I know didn't just call Pandev for no reason. Merely I saw Pandev there, I knew that the president... See, I expect the next, whoever takes over, to still be an Ijaw man. That's what I expect. Because you have to be wise. You have to, as much as, like I told you, none of those persons are better than the other. Fubara is not better than any of the commissioners. The commissioners are not better than any of the lawmakers. Amewile is not better than any of the other lawmakers along with him. So if it becomes a necessity that an Ijaw man takes over from Fubara so that it is clear that this is not an ethnic matter. This is not you must want to remove an Ijaw man. That necessity may be able to calm things down, may be able to make the people who are aggrieved see it as Wike and the lawmakers are aggrieved with Fubara, but not with Ijaw people. You understand my point? So if that happens, you may not see violence. Of course, there will be some demonstrations, there will be some protests. You may not see violence. But if Amewile comes in and there's no move or agreement to give the slot back to an Ijaw person, things may get heated up a bit. And I don't see the president as somebody who wants to lose any revenue at the moment. So it's a very, very tight one.
Okay, I'm just going to ask this last question before we wrap up, just to chip in. Your thoughts about the constitutional implication of impeaching a governor, and then how do you think this might affect power balance in Rivers State?
It's going to affect it, which is why it is very hard. Like I explained, since 1999. The Wike axis has ruled Rivers State, and the Speaker of House is also from that axis. So it's not an easy thing to pull off. I would have expected that they will have only tried to impeach Fubara, but there's no clear body language from his deputy. So you don't want to remove a problem and replace it with a worse problem. So those are the dramas. It's a very tight thing. Nobody is going to enjoy this. It's not going to be a smooth, easy process. It may be dragged till maybe even August, because there are a lot of conditions that need to be met. The Speaker of House has to notify the governor in 7 days. The Chief Judge has to set up a panel of non-partisan people. All of these processes can have a hitch. The Chief Judge can be sent on a leave. The governor may travel and not receive his document. That may take another 3 weeks. All of this can be delayed, but it will be inevitable, but very late. And we have just 1 year, in my opinion. So what is best is for Fubara to calm. I sent him a message personally on the day this happened, and he has not replied. Mr. Man, calm down. It's not only you that has been wrong in your assumptions or in your actions. Everybody in politics has been. Go back, retrace your steps, take elders to Wike and the other axis. Just that people will not hail you as much as they are hailing you all this while. But let me tell you, people are funny. I'm sorry to use the example of Mohbad and Naira Marley. Naira Marley was once hailed in this country as the best thing after Agege bread. But just one incident without any proof turned all his fans to his enemies without any proof. So people fluctuate. So know that the support you are getting now can be lost if the narrative doesn't favor you, and you are gone forever in politics. However, if he's dropped and the people still back him, I will not be surprised if Fubara becomes the candidate of SDP in 2027. Watch out for that.
We'll continue to monitor that development coming from Rivers State. And of course, Toba Owojai, the political analyst, thanks so much for your thoughts and your analysis on the program this morning.
Thank you, my brother.
Everyone, that politics in Rivers State, but what really matters are the people. Because when two elephants, let's say, are fighting, the grass is actually always at the receiving end. But right now, the Rivers State people are now on the crossroad in search of peace. Due to how volatile, again, that state is, there should be a need to deploy all means to resolve all of these concerns. And if the impeachment move is constitutional, let the process also takes its course. We also understand that even the Chief Judge of the state has to be involved in the process of impeachment. All of that, what is unfolding from Rivers State, will continue to monitor and track up all of that stories for you. But for now, everyone, let's get to go on a break. And once we return from the break, we'll be wrapping up the conversation on the program this morning. Do stay with us.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning. Do you know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Thanks so much for still staying with us here on the show. The critics of the comment bars triggered a conversation about again the state of the nation, the cost of living in which is staring on the faces of many Nigerians, as many continue to look at a lot of comparison. Bag of rice, how much is being sold today at the market, eggs, the transportation costs and all of that. Many have continued to look at the attempt by the government to address the inflation. The results so far for 2 years, owing to the fact that since the subsidy removal of May 29, 2023, things has not really been the same in the country. But What has been the effort of fighting this inflation? As things drop drastically, if the prices of fuel is getting to about 800 and 900 naira, what is the reality on the market? In which has continued to trigger that critics on the over the side of the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Queen, what can you say about all of these dramas, the cost of living and all of that concern?
You know, there's a particular phrase that people have adopted. They say cost of living won't wound the living, or cost of living won't kill the living, thereabout. But I think that even if I don't find that funny, that kind of expresses or, you know, gives you a picture of our current reality. People are living hand to mouth. People are working to eat, basically, so they can't afford other things. And I think that's what has necessitated this core member to come out and, you know, talk about the hardship she faces. Imagine having to work, and then she put it out on her Instagram that, you know, she works 48 hours and everything she does with that money is to pay bills. And for someone who, you know, has been used to the comfort of her parents, you know, having to have a parent support her in ways that, you know, is necessary, she's coming out this time around and saying, this is the first time first time I'm being an adult. I've never done this adult thing before. I'm out of my parents' house now. I'm a core member, and even if I am working, I have something little by the side I'm trying to do to put ends together. I discovered that everything I'm doing, I'm paying bills with it. She mentioned transportation. She just basically touched everything that every Nigerian is facing. Talked about data, talked about electricity, talked about roads, talked about environments, particularly in Lagos State there. She just talked about it. But you know what must have triggered people is the way and manner she must have gone about it. But away from that, let's look past whether or not she, you know, spoke with decorum or not. Let's face the elephant in the room, which is the hardship that people are currently facing. Electricity tariffs, food. You can go to the market now and you discover that an item you bought for 100 naira yesterday is now 500 naira. I mean, it's so bad. There's no regulation. I'm literally saying this because I'm wondering how can't we just regulate prices? Because how do people just independently come up with their own prices, and that's what is selling. It's happening. People are just selling how they like, how they deem fit, because we don't have regulations. And when you talk about these things, people tell you that, oh, you don't know the cost of fuel, you don't know the cost of transportation, you don't know, we just hinge it on the cost of everything, which is fine. Everything has gone up. The price of everything has gone up. But that is still not enough for people to wake up and just decide that, they want to increase the prices of how much they sell items times 5. By 50%, by 500%, whatever, it's just sad. And so, an average Nigerian has nothing to do than to be frustrated. So I can feel her pain. I know where that is coming from. And so when you are at that point where it looks like you're pressed to the wall, you're frustrated, you are pained, there's actually virtually nothing you can do, because whether you like it or not, these things are necessity. They're essential for your day-to-day living. And so when you go to the market and you find out that you have no say, there's no negotiating power, you cannot, at that point, there's nothing you can do. You can't negotiate certain prices because of the factors that contribute to the price increase. All you have to do, at that point, you're not even looking at decorum, you're not looking at how, you're just expressing pain, and which is why that core member had to come out and express. But Michael, I don't want it to look like I'm just the only person talking, because I'm an average Nigerian myself. I go to the market, I buy data, I pay for electricity, I pay rent, pay house rent, I buy fuel, I do a lot of things, so I see what is happening. I don't know about you, because you might be operating on a different economy. So let me find out if what this core member has done is valid, if we should be talking about decorum right now or addressing the elephant in the room. I
mean many people have actually commended the courage of the core member, the likes of Peter Obi, Atiku Abubakar, the presidential candidate of PDP, or backing the core member for that courage. But the truth of the matter is that it's what we have been saying. The excess of what we have been doing, the state of the nation, yes, has always been. So for a core member to come out, it's still a further confirmation of what we have been saying, that things are not the same. Everybody literally in this country are also having it. Someone was saying even the NYC LGI, is also having a fair share of this concern, because even our wages or our take-home salary can never be the same compared to maybe 5 years ago, how things were normal. So even if you want to be shied away from the truth, even if you want to defend, the part of the government, if you are partisan by being a supporter of President Tinubu or a member of APC, you are still going to the same markets. APC does not have separate market from PDP. So every Nigerians are going to the same market. We're buying the same fuel. Transportation is the same. Bag of rice is still sold at the same. I've not seen where they have a special market for some certain people. So, in general, it still stands on the face that the reality of these hardships are real. Real-time hardship. But what we are having, even as, journalists, we always see how to beam our searchlight on the effort of government. Is effort enough? The Federal Consumer Protection Commission, are they really doing enough in terms of checkmating and regulating the prices? If people are having the willpower to decide how much they sell, what is their concern? And even when you listen to their concern, they're concerned with the fact that they are the one taking charge of the transportation of movement of those goods from one way or the other, that there are no government presence or role, interfering in all of those transactions. So government should see how they can give electricity, to make transportation workable and affordable, so as to also reflect on the prices of these goods. But we also see and defend the fact that some Nigerians are just, too much greedy, in terms of alpha interest or profits they want to make out of business. So at the end of the day, government has their own side to handle. Nigerians also have their own side to handle. Yes, indeed, things are becoming difficult. The reality of the economic situation and deflation is real. But let's see how we can also accommodate, these realities. Sell and make profit, judiciously. It shouldn't be something that you are also adding to the already injury that many Nigerians are having. You saying if I also have the experience in the same market where you're buying things from, the reality is still facing all of us. But in all of this, government should hasten up, the Protection Commission should look at regulating prices. Above all, electricity, transportation, issues of fuel should be addressed, because where energy sector is well addressed, it also have a way of reflecting on the market. And of course, the issue of exchange rate is still a major concern as well.
Yeah, and I just want to add, before we wrap up, that since this core member has taken the initiative to speak up, although out of pain, I think that the 77,000 naira minimum wage that was proposed
should be fully implemented.
So that core members, because I was wondering what 33,000 naira can do. She clearly stated out that 33,000 naira cannot even cover her transport for a month, looking at inflation. So it should be implemented. It's high time.
Absolutely.
And I hope that measures are taken to ensure that core members are, a bit alleviated from this hardship.
The reality is real, and the government should hasten up effort in implementing the minimum wage, so as to also improve, the take home of the core members, what they call alawi, which is most important. 33,000 to 70,000 as government's new minimum wage that was signed into law. That's the much we can do today on the show this morning. A lot, of course, will come on a news bulletin. Bring you to speed the update on the world of business, not forgetting as well some sports update on what is happening. The preparation of the Super Eagles for the World Cup qualifiers is still hot and tense. We'll continue to bring that up as Ramsey will be here to bring us to speed about some of the development in the world of sports. My name is Edika Michael. Thanks so much for joining us on the show this morning.
I'm Queen Agaba. Have a beautiful day ahead. Bye for now.
Bye-bye for now.
Welcome to Global Morning.
Death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure.
If you don't say we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rate as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call the police station, before they even leave, they take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve the struggle with ASU strike.
Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a life. The president never gave me any deadline.